What is up, everybody? Bingo here. I'm with the Dual Factory and Ray for this week's episode of X2 Drop, our Yu-Gi-Oh podcast we do every week talking about the game or something coming up. And this week we are 2 weeks away from the no sooner than date for the next ban list. So, it's nice to kick back and go with the free topic, as I put it, because we really didn't know what to talk about this week. But there's a lot that could happen on this list, and I think some of us have different perspectives on how they should approach it. So since this was my topic idea, I think they need to be very experimental with this ban list because it's a very unique time where basically there's no major repercussions for doing something wild because we have no events, and if they do something... I can't even think of like unlimited or taking a card off the ban list that would just be high impact. That's not too degenerate, kind of like what they did with Snatch Steal and immediately regretted it. But Joe, how do you feel they should approach this ban list?
I have flashbacks to Snatch Steal and I can't sleep at night. No, I'm just playing. Honestly, I don't know, because as we all know, the world has been in a giant timeout. And we've only had the online platform. But me and Ray were actually talking about this the other day. The decks on the online platform are changing so drastically. It's kind of hard to point at specific cards and say that those are the problems, or see what the actual general meta strategies are. But I mean, there are some cards that probably could go to win, but there's also products that are also too new. So it's kind of a weird banless situation, and it's kind of hard to pick and choose what should go, what should come back, and stuff like that. I'm looking at this there's some cards that could come back probably, but
yeah, and we'll get into the specifics in just a minute after Ray.
Better description. It's a giant gray area right now.
Yeah, and that's why it's I don't really know what they're gonna do. Normally we have at least some vague idea. They could just straight up ban needle fiber, but it came out not that long ago, and we haven't had any real events since it came out. So are we just gonna get screwed and never get to play it, or are they gonna leave it legal? Ray, what do you think? How do you think they're gonna approach it?
So it's either two ways. Well, I mean, my way that I want them to approach is to have a risky ban list. I would rather them try something that they wouldn't normally try and have it break the format, because it's breaking an online format. Yeah, exactly. At best, by the time another ban list comes up, you might have had a couple weeks of locals where you have to deal with it. And if locals is your biggest tournament that it's happening at, it's not a real format. And then the other thing I could see them doing is just saying, there's nothing going on right now, we're just going to postpone posting a ban list at all. Because, there aren't any big tournaments coming, so just let things happen as they are currently.
I feel that would be so disappointing. It's if they didn't want to ban anything or change, take away anything, that's one thing, but half the fun of the ban list is getting 2 to 5 cards back that you can play with that you didn't have before, and that's what I look forward to.
I don't know if it'd be a good strategy for getting people excited when there's nothing going on, but it is something I could see Konami doing, just saying we're not having major events, so there's no reason to update the ban list.
That would be really upsetting, but I definitely could see that happening. But let's for the sake of the discussion, let's say they don't do that, right? What are some major meta cards that either need to be addressed on the ban list or need to be talked about in some way, like Eldritch. Eldritch is freaking everywhere, but it just came out, right? And there's 9,000 different builds of the deck. So do you guys think that's going to get hit in any way?
I honestly don't.
I agree.
It's one of those things I don't know. Eldritch is kind of in a weird place because obviously it's clearly on the on the online platform, because everyone has access to it. It is clearly a meta defining deck. There's no doubt about it. It's a tier 1 strategy. But so much stuff has to everyone's playing so many different builds, and you're getting farther and farther away from pure Eldritch builds to more of it's becoming an engine for other decks. And so it's kind of, I think it's like kind of like the same spot where like the Invoked engine is, where it's like it's good in other decks, but it's not good standalone. So it has that going for it, but that's like it's kind of hard to pick like what specific card is like actually the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Eldritch isn't like Adamancipator where you just go get rid of Block Dragon, right? Like there's no easy target to just say this is what needs to go.
I'd be super happy if Block Dragon was gone, by the way, just putting that out there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot, like, other than people who are only playing Adamancipator, I feel like, and even some of them would probably be fine just to not have to deal with it in the mirror match. Like,
well, Block Dragon's awful.
Okay, because what are the big builds of Eldritch this week? Is it like is the Synchro build still alive? Is the Invoked build still alive? The Pure?
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it's just everywhere, right?
Yeah, like there's not there. That's the thing. Like, there's just no defined build of that deck. It's not like the Adamancipator deck where like clearly the go cards are the best way to go and play the deck, right? Like we don't have a defined build for that, and like it's because everyone has so much like free time just sitting there and playing in front of their computers playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the deck just keeps rapidly evolving faster than previous meta deck predecessors, like the Dragon Ruler deck or the Pendulum deck after so many goddamn fucking ban lists, or like what's another deck that's been in the format forever? The Burning Abyss deck. Remember how it went from 2014 to 2016 and then kind of fell off of Earth and came back and all that fun stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's like it's taken like the longevity of how many times those decks have evolved, and then like we've like literally broken it down within like a 60-day period. Like it's been an unreal transformation of what that deck does.
Yeah, because there's constantly results from these online tournaments coming up, and it's just, okay, this guy was playing this, I want to try it out. Oh, that's the most popular version. I'm going to tech this card, and then that's going to warp the next format or the next tournament. It's just like this rapid meta that we've never seen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Before. But I feel like Eldritch is... The reason I wanted to bring it up in conversation is because the Eldritch cards, I don't feel like are on anybody's radar right now to be addressed in any way. It's everything that goes into Eldritch that's just like good stuff, right? Because there's the builds that are abusing like Needle Fiber and the Synchro engine, and then it's just a bunch of other stuff that just kind of pair well with the Eldritch cards.
If you think about it, it kind of remember. Okay, so I hate to bring up memories of Goki format, right? But remember when like people were like switching over to like 60 card good link deck, where it was just like a bunch of like good cards that were like good for linking and like good starters, like the warrior cards and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what Eldritch kind of reminds me of, because you're just putting like cards that like all seem to like just be like generally good cards, and you're just mixing the Eldritch archetype into it right now. That's what kind of reminds me of.
All right, Ray, what do you think?
So my big thing on it is just like, yeah, there's no, like, for the Eldritch cards, I don't feel like there's, and I could be wrong on this, I haven't played a lot of Eldritch. I've mainly been playing Adamancipator, but like for the Eldritch cards, it doesn't seem like there's one like currently in the format that just feels like it's breaking the deck more than anything else, that like more than any other strictly Eldritch card. Like the one card in that deck that I like needs to go with Aqua Fibrax. Like,
yeah, and you could say that for.
Yeah, and that's for every deck. Like, that's not just Eldritch. It's just Synchro Eldritch is the one deck I know that's really meta that you generally are playing more than one copy in the extra deck now. So.
Okay, I want to get that discussion out of the way, because Eldritch, as irritating as it is to play against, like, it's not the hardest thing in the world to play against. And then you transition over to Adamancipator, who full combos you through 2 hand traps, and there's a different story. So, Ray, you have the most experience out of the 3 of us playing Adamancipator. What do you think the big problem is? I know you already mentioned Black Dragon. Do you think that's the only problem, or like what do we need to address, and how?
So there's some stuff. It's hard to say, like, without, because like a lot of the Adamancipator cards you can't really hit without just the deck dying. But like it has really good persistence. I don't think it builds the best. Like, it builds good boards, but there are decks that can do that better. It's just the amount of times it can get through your opponent stopping a certain play and just be like, because like I was dueling against Joe the other day, and like there was a turn where he impermed and ashed me, and I still got to build a board that I ended on like Dragite, Rainbow Neos, and Guardian, and like Guardian is just dumb in that deck.
Yeah.
Like if you have
It's so
Guardian,
free.
yeah, you just stop caring about what your opponent's doing, because if they do something that's actually going to hurt you, just get to tell them no. So
Animate's just kind of like weird though. So like when me and Ray were testing, and then like I've been watching, Adamantipator kind of reminds me of like the Danger Thunder deck when we still had Colossus, where like it's just all the cards. It's like everything you draw is like nothing but gas, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just get to keep playing and playing and playing and playing, and Block Dragon is like a testament to that. The thing is like what it's producing. Like when I compare, because as you know, I play so many combo decks compared to what I was like putting out in like certain decks, especially like when remember we were testing like Danger Thunder and we were testing that build that I can't remember who came out with the combo was playing like the Photon Star Leech Dragon or whatever the one is.
Oh yeah.
Like the boards aren't nearly as powerful, and what I mean by that is like the monsters aren't nearly as big, and like you're not putting up nearly as many negations, or you're not putting up a flood or anything like that. Like it's not as intimidating. But like the fact that the deck can do it almost every single turn, kind of like how the BA deck when it was BAPK and it had 3 Beatrice, could end on a Beatrice set Fogblade every single turn. Like it's kind of like the middle ground between those two decks, and that's why I think it's like such a good deck right now. And like you have like Block Dragon equipping, like being equipped by Union Carriers. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, it's like it's a strong board. Like I'd say a little bit stronger than your average like rogue combo deck. Obviously, it's better than that because it is so recursive, and it just can do some things that there's not a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh decks that I can think of that play that way. You know, it's I like how it's unique in its play style with the excavating and the rock synergy, but the problem being Block Dragon and Union Carrier. Do you think we should just get rid of Union Carrier preemptively, or do you think that's too soon and we're just going to hit Block Dragon?
Well, I mean, so Union Carrier is like a weird card, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's any 2 cards, and then like you can equip whatever card. But like I think what the problem with that is like, okay, so let's say Union Carrier and then Dragon, what was it? Dragon Buster, I think it is the Destruction Spell or something like that. So that's the card that domain locks your opponent, right?
Yeah.
You ban that. Okay, so that's one card taken away. But then when you look at the Union Carrier, like it can still pull Block Dragon out of the deck for Adamantipator. There are rogue decks that are playing the Force Tricks engine in it, or I should say the Wise Tricks engine, and then they're still doing the Infinite Negate combo. So Miss Valley Thunderbird is still a card. Okay, so that's another card you can pull out of your deck, and that's a combo that every deck that can use 2 level 4s can access. Okay, so then you have that card, and then you have other cards like we'll take it to like a super minor case at this point. It can do the ABC deck. It can pull Photon Orbital out, and then you have instant access to Cyber Dragon Infinity. Or like Aaron just said that we just saw it in our chat, it can pull any Orcus card out of your deck, and you can start Orcus combo because the carrier gave you access to it. So like I think it starts falling into the category. Like remember when we had Firewall, and we were just banning all the cards that went well with Fireball instead of banning Firewall. Do I think it's too soon to ban the card or like do something about it? Yes, but I don't think taking away the Union Carrier card and leaving it in the game solves the problem either. Like the other cards are getting banned for one other card existing. I mean, I'd rather just ban the problem.
Yeah.
Because if you have 2, a lot of those cards go in some rogue strategies. There's that.
Yeah, like Union Carrier, I mean, you can look at it as like a Foolish Burial in your extra deck with extra steps, right? Like you have access to any monster with the right setup that you could possibly want out of your deck. And cards like that, just we've seen it time and time again. The longer that card is out, the more cards that come out, the more degenerate stuff is going to pop up. And that's where I see the problem. I don't think it's Union Carrier's time to go. I would like to see it just because like it's not going to do anything healthy for the game. But it is too soon. What do you think, Ray? So
I don't know. I think I I would rather it's like I don't know. I just said Huckle Fibrex could go, but I feel like Union Carrier could stay. I feel like it's one of those ones where the things that are really good in the meta right now for like the meta decks, like you do have the Ystrix combo and you have the card for Orcust. I don't know how relevant Orcust is going to be right now versus Adamancipator and Eldritch. I know for PPG's tournament there's at least one in the top 8, but for the bigger 2 decks right now, like the cards that like you could take away Buster Sword and Block Dragon, I feel like already needs to go. So like that card is bannable on its own merit. And then if Union Carrier is still an issue, then it can be addressed later if it needs to be hit right now. So
yeah, I'm kind of on the that side of the fence with you. It's just Block Dragon hasn't been too much in the spotlight right now, but anyone who's played like Rock BA like in the past year or two knows like Block Dragon is just a stupid good card. Like it does so much and it generates so much advantage. Just it's kind of unfair. It's kind of like crazy. Like the card can search any rock monster out of your deck and can search you up to fucking 3 cards, right?
yeah, it's always like it's almost always getting you 3 in Adamancipator, and it's gonna be like it's generally gonna be a rock and then the 2 level 2s, right? So you can just get 2 excavates and then any level 4 rock out of your deck. So even if your opponent, like even if you can't extend anymore and you've used all the effects, it's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna end my turn, grab Guardian, Seeker, and Researcher out of my deck. I summon Guardian, so I have a negate on board. Then I can special Researcher, use its effect, and then I can special Seeker and use its effect. So
yeah, and it just took till right now to get like that meta rock strategy that pushed it over the edge. Like that card is just crazy. So Block Dragon, I feel like needs to be addressed, and then obviously. I don't even think we've said it yet. Like Needle Fiber just needs to get banned.
I think there's like good intentions like on the thought design of the card, but like it's the same thing like with seconds. Like the TCG player is a bunch of fucking degenerates, and all we're doing is degenerate shit with it.
I'm gonna be like, it should get hit on the ban list. It should definitely go to 1. I'm kind of fine with it staying at 1. So most decks can play it just because like it's good in almost everything, and it like to what you guys were saying earlier, we're not having any big events. Like let's just have a power format and see kind of how wacky we can get without just getting completely out there.
Yeah, I just don't want to see more tuners get the axe like Jet Synchron or like any of the good ones we have left, because like that'll be 3 or 4 tuners on the ban list strictly because of Needle Fiber existing, and that's kind of the part that's kind of off-putting to me. But yeah, I could see it staying. It's just you were talking about the design of the card. I mean, that card, we were supposed to get that card in 2017, and it was supposed to be like this insanely powerful card that pushed link summoning, and we just never got it. So now we're paying the price with its genericness and not requiring a Crystron monster.
That's the wackiest part to me. Especially with like some of the restrictions they put on the Link monsters when they released that set. Bro.
You talking about Link Vrains Pack 1? Because there was very little restrictions in that set.
I'm talking about comparing them as like Link's like progress.
Oh yeah, from like Link Vrains Pack 2 and 3, where it's like it almost always requires and at least one monster of that archetype, you know?
Like at least like they could at least put you have to use at least one machine, like something.
Yeah, nope. A tuner and non-tuner.
That's it.
All right. Is there anything else meta relevant that you guys feel like needs to be talked about?
I don't know if it's meta relevant, but I think it's time for Curious to go. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, Foolish Burial and Extra Deck is just always.
Well, there's so many combos that not combos, but just thinking about it, because like one of the things I remember about the card like so like vividly is like how like generically you could side specific cards. Like remember when people were siding like a copy of Summon Limit or the one copy of Imperial Orders or like some sort of like superpower floodgate, right?
Yeah,
and they would do the Curious combo to send it, and then they would just make Griffin to reset it. Like, bruh, that's insane. And then like no one's like I haven't seen people like taking advantage of it now. I have seen some people play Curious with the scrap combo to like get like more advantage out of it. But like, bro, it's gonna get to a point because someone's gonna find a way to like really, really break it, and then it's gonna get super out of hand, kind of like Laval Chain. And when
Oh,
we
you
added
mean pole position combo, Joe? Because like that's what people are.
There you go. That's a perfect example. The fucking
And
pole position combo.
That's one of those cards where I would just say ban. Like, Curious does need to go. It's an issue, but ban pole position as well.
Yeah,
because
it's just a
deck,
dumb card.
Yeah, not because I don't think that deck. I don't think that deck is so good that it's gonna like warp the game around it. But I just think it's a bad time when you have to like call a judge over. And like it's only online, but I've seen it happen a lot on DB, and it would be even worse. Like you're playing at locals or like a newer player's there trying to get into the game, and then their opponent just summons all this stuff, and it looks really cool. But then it gets to your turn, you go to play your first card, and they're like, you can't, and you just get told you can't play the game because of the board they made.
Yeah,
like, that's not a good feeling.
And that just goes against what Konami generally tries to do. You know, it's essentially an FTK. You literally cannot do anything. Game's over. Right. So
yeah, you have to be playing Dangers, which most decks aren't playing right now, or you have to be playing Kaijus. So
yeah, that's not happening. Okay, so Curious, definitely, I think the longer the game goes on, there's just going to be something that breaks that card wide open, more so than it already has, because, I mean, we've seen Curious in deck lists over the past 3 years since it came out, so...
I played it for the longest time in fucking Thunder. Like, yeah. Bro, that card's insane.
It's really good in Lightsworn.
The deck, unironically, what it was made for is good, and imagine that.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what card we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
The Predaplant card.
Oh, fucking Anaconda.
So, I didn't realize that card could change the attribute of a monster on the field.
Yeah.
Oh, the dark? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was watching some dude play the other day, and they were playing the Zolkin combo on their deck, and they made fucking Crystal Wing a dark and equipped the Dragon Buster card. I'm like, bro, come on. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I think Verte needs to go. I don't think it's going to happen. Just because it's an easy way for them to help sell Dragoon from the tins. Because without it, like, what are you playing? 3 Red Eyes fusions? Like,
yeah, I mean, Red Eyes. No, that's not going to happen. I would like to see it go. I would like to see, or for Konami to say, okay, this is way too splashable. It's in everything right now, and we'll just preemptively do it. And Dragoon, it's an anime card, or it's an anime themed card. Dark Magician and Red Eyes. It'll sell on its own, and it's just a promo. It is a promo, right?
Anaconda's fucking card design was so cool, and the thought behind it was. But like again, the TCG is a bunch of fucking degenerates. And look what we're summoning fucking Rainbow Neos as a game ender.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm sideboarding that like 3-card combo. Like I'm main decking Anaconda. I don't have anything to do. Like so basically I'm just like game 1 I'm pretty much always playing a 14-card extra deck, and then I'm just sideboarding the 4 cards, the Neos Fusion, the Rainbow Neos, the Dragon, and Neos himself.
Yeah,
just to like swap in.
It's
just dumb.
It takes so little investment, you know? It's like, okay, well, my opponent has 3 interruptions. I have 6 cards. I power through those 3, and I have 2 monsters left on the field, and there's fucking Anaconda.
Like, bro, like I said, I thought the idea is so cool, but the fact that it's execution for our community is so gay. Like, come on, man.
And like you can't even say like, okay, I can see them hitting Neos Fusion just because why not? But then we're just going to run into the exact same problem in a couple months with Dragoon. Because Anaconda's design, like I feel like outside of the stupid degenerate fusion monsters that it can summon, like the design is actually really well balanced. You know, you can't special summon.
It's so cool, and it's like so. Like honestly, you're right. Like the idea of how it's supposed to be executed, it's like such a cool card. But like again, we're just a bunch of assholes here.
Yeah, like think about the exact same scenario I just went through. Okay, you dealt with your opponent's stuff, at least the interruptions. Then you make Anaconda, and then you fucking super poly from the deck. You know,
bro. If I had to describe Anaconda, it's like Douglas's French love for Mystic Mine put it into a card. No one likes Mystic players.
Oh, Mystic Mine. Okay, before we get into what do we want to see come off part, is Mystic Mine worth addressing, or should we leave it as a viable side deck option for going second?
It's fine. I mean, no one's playing it right. Like, at least for what I've seen for the PPG for the past week, like, I haven't even seen it in sides, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's. I think without Metaverse at more than one copy, I think Mystic Mine is fine.
Bro, like, no one's playing it right now, but like the card's still there.
Yeah, and when you go back to locals, I feel like that's when you're going to feel the Mystic Mine hit at the worst possible time. You know. Mm-hmm. But okay, I like to leave it for just a going second option. It should never. We've talked about this before, Ray. It should never be a viable strategy on its own. It's just a good going second break a board card.
Yep.
All right, we got
you shouldn't be able to just be like, I'm just gonna like play Mystic Mine
Goddess,
and pass
Goddess
and just lock you out the game.
Field barrier, that whole shenanigans.
Yeah.
All right, we got like 5 to 10 minutes left. Joe, if you could bring a card back, peel it off to 1, whatever, what would you want it to be?
Just peel it off the 1. I can't just be drastic. Put something to 3.
No, I mean you can do it, make whatever change you want, but just not banning a card, bringing it back.
If I were to bring back a card, bro, honestly,
you got to sell. You got to sell it to us. So
I'm putting Max A to 3. 100%. Not even going to question it.
You stole mine.
Bro. Like,
your thoughts.
So, so we have all these hand traps, all these hand traps, right? But, like, the problem is with a lot of these cards is it takes 2 to 3 against the combo deck to be able to actually make a dent, right? Like, because, like, most combo decks are designed like, hey, like, what do I do if my opponent has this hand trap? What my opponent does if he has this hand trap or has this hand trap, right?
Yeah.
Max C to me is the ultimate equalizer because it puts it to the point where you don't have to dilute your deck with as many hand traps, but at the same time, it gives non-combo decks a better chance of faring against the combo decks. Because, like, for example, we'll say it because, I mean, I can't believe I'm about to say these types of decks, but like the Altergeist decks and the Guru Control decks and what's another rogue strat? We'll say Evil Eye just randomly because these are all like +1 grindy decks, right? All have that in common. It gives them a chance to not automatically lose going second because their deck thrives on going first, right? You'll have more cards to work, and like it puts your opponent in the ultimate position. Like, are you going to play through this, or are we actually going to have an interactive game of Yu-Gi-Oh? Now, the cross side of that is Max C becomes incredibly unfair in combo matches. Because, say, for example, one combo player opens it, but the other one does it. Like, that's where it becomes kind of unfair. But it becomes super sacky if you put it to 1. But if you put it to 3, it gives each player an equal chance of seeing it in a 5-card opening hand. So, to me, the card being banned is kind of, like, obviously, like, people, like, really wanted it to go because, like, it was getting super, super sacky. But I think it's kind of ridiculous that the card's gone in general. So I think it would just be the ultimate equalizer.
People were only mad at it because it was at 1. You know, and there was nothing more frustrating than the 1 copy of Max C in the Zoo Mirror and your opponent opening it going second.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, the card, like, it started getting real stupid in, like, 2016, before Zoo format, where you had, like, ABC, DDD,
Metal. You had 2 Max Cs then, didn't you?
It was either 2 or 3, but that's, like, where the people started thinking it was getting ridiculous. Just think about it, like, in the ABC mirror, can't believe I'm using that as an example, like, you just drop a Max C and, like, okay, your opponent's turn, and because you didn't want to give him 2 cards, like, come on, bro. We are way past that stage in Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, for those who want to know, John Moore can eat my ass.
All right, we'll go into that next week. But, Ray, you got any either takes on the Max C, or you want to tell us what you want to change? Because, I mean, we could probably talk about Max C for a full hour, like, by itself.
Yeah, Max C is just a card that's had a huge impact on the meta, and it's easy to go into details on why it should or should not be on the ban list. But if I had to pick for ban list coming on or coming off of Forbidden, I think Judgment could come back at 1. I'm hesitant to put it back anything less or anything more than that, but at 1, I feel like it's just not doing a lot because you're going to have to use, like we talked about this the other night.
All right, real quick, he's talking about Spellbook of Judgment, not Solemn Judgment. All right, go on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Spellbook of Judgment come back to 1 just because you're going to have to search it up most of the time. You're not going to naturally draw into it. And if you're already using your secrets to get it, then
you're only resolving 2 other Spellbook cards.
Yeah.
Unless you open Knowledge and then... I 100% agree. I've had this argument with Joe probably 2 or 3 times over the past 2 years. And... Even if you hard open Judgment, Blue Boy, and Secrets, you're ending with what, a Fate and a Jowgen?
Yeah, it's not.
Who cares? Then you do run into the Spellbook engine that Joe was talking about last night, where maybe it just meshes super well with a strategy we weren't thinking of, like pendulums or I don't know.
It does allow you to kind of refresh your hand at the end of the turn, right?
Yeah, it refreshes you with either another draw card, because you can search a Spellbook card in Knowledge to get you deeper into your deck. It gives you a normal summon that thins your deck and then maybe draws you 2 cards. So it can do a lot. Like, I'm not like it's banned for a reason, right? But I do think it's safe to come back to 1.
I don't know, bro. There's so many things. There's so many things you're allowed to do with 1 Judgment, though. Like, that's, I don't know, because like we have because I was like we were talking about yesterday. Like, so obviously, like as a 1-of, you're not going to see it in your opening hand. I get that. Like, I 100% do. So that way, like your Blue Boy search, it's like you kind of have to like dedicate what you have to go for. But one thing that we didn't have before that we do now, and I don't know how big an impact it would until I won't know until we actually, if this comes to pass. But the Crowlessy, the first Prophecyr card, we didn't have that, which is another way to tutor it out of the deck.
Yeah, I mean that's just a Library of the Crescents.
And then one of the cards that a lot of people keep like forgetting about, and like I remember the hype around the card, but like the Spellbook of Knowledge, and then because of that, it'll let you draw 2 more cards there too. But you can draw into more Spellbook cards, and then it allows you to have access to cards that you shouldn't have access to. Because I don't enjoy the thought of Jowgen being a meta-relevant card again. Like, just I don't enjoy that thought at all. You can start playing my favorite side deck card again of all time, which was Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. I love that card. And there's so many things that you can start playing because of that 1 card and what it allows you to do. Like, yes, it might have been power craft a little bit, or maybe a lot. Maybe I'm just over exaggerating it, but it was 1 card that let it compete with an entire other tier 0 archetype in the Dragon Ruler format during Baby Ruler format. So, the power of that card can't be like disregarded. No,
I absolutely agree. But it was also like a designed hard counter to that tier 0 strategy. You know, it was like directly made to beat that. It felt like.
Which I'm almost positive that's the intent. But like I was just saying, like.
Yeah.
1 card was able to compete with an entire tier 0 strategy. That's where I start getting hesitant.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say on Judgment is I feel like it will be a great spellbook engine. Like I feel like you'll start seeing that in rogue decks a lot more, because if you open Secrets and Blue Boy or Secrets and Judgment, it gives you a lot more options that just they just draw cards, right? They thin your deck. It fixes some problems with certain rogue decks, and I like having that option. You know, there's very minimal draw engines for a reason in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I feel like the spellbook engine is solid if it fits right.
I think my last words for it would just be that, and I could be wrong. It could completely warp the meta around it to where almost every deck is playing a spellbook engine, but this is the meta where you try the spicy unbans, because why? What's the consequence? We were what we've been talked about this earlier for the first quarter of the podcast.
For mine, I can do something that everybody would expect me to, unban a Zoo card, unban a Necros card, but What I'm leaning towards is both of you took things off my fucking list, so thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
One card that I want back personally is I've talked about it a few times. Double Iris Magician. Even I want it back less now because Electrum's banned and it just synergized so well with that. But I hate pendulums. I fucking hate any like pendulum mashup deck. But the Pendulum Magicians were one of my favorite artworks for card designs in the past couple of years. Like Double Iris is just such a cool looking card, and getting Time Pendulum Graph and Space Pendulum Graph from your deck. I don't even know how you're going to proc that anymore because we don't have Electrumite, but I want that card back. I don't think it would do jack shit right now because of all the hits Pendulum took, but that's what I want back.
Pendulum's too slow of a deck to take advantage of the card anymore.
Yeah, without Electrum, there's nothing they can do.
Like maybe it was too powerful, like post Zoo format when that was the best deck, and then like Electrumite came out. Obviously, like the card was insane, especially with Joker gone. But like it's just there's no way the Magician card. If you look at a lot of Pendulum decks, the only Magician card people are playing is the Time Gauge, and that because you have to play it to make it work with Chronograph. But like other than that, like the card's too slow. You can't proc a turn one without having to play bad. I can't believe I'm about to say it, but playing bad cards like Luster Pendulum, the True Draco Slayer, like bruh. Like that's insane to me to think that card's bad now, but like it's too slow.
Yeah, there are just way too many hits surrounding that card for it to be justifiable to stay on the ban list. And I just want it back. It's just such a cool card, and Trap Graph is like, it was extremely frustrating to play against when that was the best deck because I wasn't that good at the game. Not that I'm any better now, but it's just such a cool card. I like Trap Graph with was it Time Star Magician, the rank 4?
Yeah.
I just think that interaction is really cool, and I want it back. So,
Good.
All right, speed round. You got 10 seconds. What do you want to unban for the memes, Joe?
Unban for the meme summon sorcerers. I want Lone Fire for every deck.
All right.
I want a bubble chain. Like
Unchain the Chain 2020. Let's do it.
exactly. Like let's just push this. Let's make it a power format.
All right, so we got Lavalval Chain, Summon Sork, and what do I want?
You want Rusty Bardiche? Say it. I know you do.
Not even close, man. I didn't even think about this. Okay.
Ancient
10,
Dragon. You want it? Give it to
9,
us.
8, 7, 6.
It's a World Childless Justicar.
You know what?
Go on.
Last Will.
You motherfucker! No. You stop that.
All right, guys. So that has been this week's episode of Extra Drop. It was a little bit longer, but we were having fun with it. So if you have enjoyed, please remember to check us out every week, same time, same place, 8 a.m., iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and a bunch of other places I don't know. I got the Duel Factory here with his closing comments. Joe, you got anything to say?
John Moore can eat my ass, and Douglas French has no sauce.
Piccolo, you have no sauce. Hey.
Ray, again, it was fantastic having you on here. It definitely fills in the void when me and Joe have absolutely nothing to talk about. I appreciate it, and look forward to having you on again sometime in the future. And
Yeah, I always like coming on here. So
all right, peace out, guys. I'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.